Behind the scenes, the outliers meet, not by accident, by truth, by witness, by walk. We're not your toy, we're real, we breathe. We think, we pray, we still believe. You watch the walkers but miss the light. Two women standing in plain sight. Michaele walks where truth gets loud. Billie rolls through the silent crowd. Lawful America, toll and roll. Evidence carried with heart and soul. Telling the truth should not be deadly. Speaking the truth should not cost your life. Outliers rise when the world gets heavy. We are the witnesses walking through night. We are the light, we are the sound. We are the ones they try to drown. But truth has a way of breaking free. You can't bury what God lets breathe. Be the lighthouse, hold the line. Walk with spirit, walk divine. Not for fame and not for show. We came because the people know. Children missing, records gone. Still we stand and keep rolling on. One bus, one road, one righteous fight. Outliers walking truth to light. Telling the truth should not be deadly. Being an outlier's not a crime. We found each other steady and ready. Truth always shows up right on time. Get on the bus, get on the walk. Let the people hear us talk. Behind the scenes, but not unseen. Toll and roll keeps rolling clean.
Hello, everybody out there. This is Billie, co-founder of Toll and Roll, and I'm going to be doing a fantastic behind-the-scenes interview today, one of the first in a little side series of our series called The Outliers. I'm an outlier, and those of you out there who comprehend what that word really means, especially those behind the scenes who follow we whistleblowers constantly like a puppy chasing a toy. We're not your toy. We're real. We breathe, we think, we collaborate, and we walk through the valley together. And today, I have another outlier who's a walker. Truly, by name, by duty, by divine presence, Michaele Walker. And today, I'm going to turn this little interview over to let Michaele tell you why she's so important behind the scenes of Toll and Roll, and why, as an outlier, together we were drawn. Michaele, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being the first of the Outlier series. You may be the only one with me. We'll see. But God bless you. Go forward. Tell us what you want to tell us today, because I can't wait for the people to hear you.
Well, thank you, really, for having me. I had to laugh when you said Walker, and because I've never changed my last name, even when I got married. And then I had found out my name was before the Roman Empire and everything. And so I found out a lot of information. So it was just meant to be to always keep my last name for being a walker of truth and a walker of light. I always say that in this journey, I think it's very important to be the lighthouse. And there's so many of us. And you know, I've learned that we don't need a big platform like people think that we need to. That we just have to come together and use our energy and our stories of why we are doing what we're doing and who we are, and you know what happened to become this, to seek the truth. And it's, you know, I want to thank you for having me on here. It's a great honor, and I have followed your work, and I love your work. So kind of Billie and I have talked, and I just want to talk to people about why I became on this platform and why I do what I do. I'm the owner of Lawful America. I've been an advocate, but why I became the advocate was because of my life journey. I knew about 9/11 before most people knew about 9/11. I knew 9/11 was going to happen, actually, before it happened. The father of my two oldest children worked for Lockheed Martin, and he had told me some things August before 9/11 happened. And unfortunately, committed suicide right before 9/11. And we had our daughter. I did not know that I was expecting with our son. And so that path kind of got me on the truth of 9/11. Then went into helping people that had suffered from suicide, losing loved ones from suicide. My grandfather had also committed suicide from, we talk about bloodlines and history and trauma in life. And we have a date in our family because of coming from bloodline. And my uncle had died in January 16th of 1969. My grandmother on my mother's side was raped and murdered by her neighbor on that same date in another year. And then my grandfather on my dad's side killed himself on January 16th. So there was trauma of learning how to heal myself. I think that's what gets us on this journey is, for me, I remember when Mike died, there was something that came to me because I wanted to give up. I'm not going to be on here and go, oh, this has been a perfect world. No. I wanted to give up. And fortunately, right when I was in that moment, my daughter laughed. She was a little baby. And that brought me back, God's grace really brought me back to reality. And when that happened, I said, I will never allow his, experience become my own death. And that's been my life through that, there's times I've not been healthy and healing. And there are times that the one thing I do know about me is I always rise. And, we have society and a world in injustice and child trafficking and the fraud that we see in our advocacy that I think that the major media makes it look like there's this one answer or it's a very easy answer. And I have worked multiple cases. I can tell everybody there's not one case that's alike. And what will work for one case won't work maybe for the other one. So you have to learn to adapt. I'm sure you have learned that yourself, Billie, in your work.
Oh yeah, we know a lot of the crimes the same, but the
Right.
way it happens has a caveat. The stories aren't the anomaly. The actions behind them are. And a lot of them we find do connect the same people all the way up the ladder.
All the way. In my work, there's not a single, and then this goes into child trafficking or because I worked a lot of child trafficking cases. I worked with veterans. I had a clinic for veterans for PTSD and suicide. And I actually was offered from the government, from the Deputy Veteran Affairs flew in, and they offered me as much grant money as I ever wanted if I would just shut my mouth.
Isn't that wonderful? And, you and I spoke about that, the fact that if you are someone who they can control, your life is free of anything you need. If
Absolutely.
they cannot control you, they want to strip you of everything right down to your last breath.
Absolutely. And I think people need to realize the danger, because danger is real, but I'm a firm believer in controlling the mind spiritually and not having fear, to be aware. And I'm going to say my story is 2 years ago that you know of. I had an ex-boyfriend who I believe was sent in. There was a situation about lithium. I was researching. I also was working on a case that I believe you're familiar with of Jonah Reef.
Yes, and that's actually one of the big discussions we've had, and I look forward to sharing a little bit more about that, because that is a very, very important case to this country.
It's one of the cases that when I wanted to quit, I mean, my work has had my roommate killed. I've been raped because of my work, brutally raped, and I would say I'm going to stop, and God goes, "Oh, that's funny."
Hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. let me teach you you're not. And so 2 years ago, my roommate had gotten killed, well, a year prior to that, and because of some audio I had of a constable talking about lawyers and judges every year raping children or a child. They do a shot, and it was very detailed. The audio was very detailed, and my roommate linked it
May I
up.
ask you a question before you go on? Those same judges, they're still on the bench today, correct? A lot of them?
Absolutely. And most attorneys.
Okay, so those listening right now, this is very key as to why we're doing this Outlier series. You're not going to hear this in your mainstream media. You're not going to hear this from your mainstream podcasters. They don't want to share this information. They share third hand, but they're not going to share with, like Michelle, walking firsthand, giving this information. So, Michelle, those just real quickly, would you say that there is any judges out there, ends of the court, on the bench, in the judiciary, who have any chance, without the people working as hard as we are, to bring justice to anyone in those courts, unless there's evil behind it?
I personally believe, and this is my personal belief, I don't believe that anyone's in those positions without being compromised. And this is why my county, before I left and had to go off the grid because of my work, my community had asked me to run for House of Representative. And I was told by the Republican Party that because I just speak like I'm speaking with you, I wasn't writing speeches, and that if I wanted to run, I need to have my speech prepared and looked at. I was told that I could only answer certain ways. I would not. So I got a phone call by 3 people in one day, and they were very high up people, that if I stayed in the race, I was taking my children to the slaughterhouse. And I had a situation going on, a family matter, that my father's company was in the defense industry, and espionage we had a situation, so I chose family at that time. So I personally, through my experience, that's my opinion, that I don't believe that there are people in those seats that have not been compromised one way. Now, with that said, people may have done something, gone to a party and not realized they were getting recorded, but the court systems are fraud. They're based on fraud. And so for me, a woman of integrity, I believe that if you are sitting behind the bench and you know the fraud behind it and you continue to stay in that position, then you are part of it and you will be accountable for it. It may not be on this round, but you are going to be accountable for it. And with that said, that's where I really believe, like, spiritually, why we do what we do. I have people that tell me, why are you working like you do? It's not going to change. And I told him, I said, God laid on my heart a couple months ago in a case that I'm working in Illinois, that what this is about is us witnessing. And we're witnessing. And we have to put the data out of there. We have to keep telling your story. You have to continue to be the lighthouse, because it may not be about, we may not see the reward. But in today's world with AI, algorithms, every time you speak in this realm with frequency, spiritual, it does make a difference. And so if you can, hold the line is what I feel like. But I feel like when we're preserving history, we're preserving the truth, it is going into algorithms. So it may be our children, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren that may one day be looking at books or something that a document and say, well, Billie did this, such and such did this, and this is the source. This is what we build from. So that's about my work. I also believe in accountability is going to happen. That's not going to be on this realm. And I believe that we are individually going to be asked, what did you do to stop it? What did you do? And so, my grandfather, I was very blessed that my grandfather, he fought under General Patton in World War II. When I was a teenager, he told me that, he showed me this huge history book, and he said, this is not true. This is not what happened. And he was under General Patton. And he said, get your education, but not the one they're giving you. And that was kind of the eye-opening of me realizing what you're always being told is not the truth. And on this journey,
history is only as good as those who write the notes. And
right.
The notes that are being written now to replace history is very key to what you just said. As a listener who comprehends what we're going through with data centers right now, with AI discussions, the key here is who is putting the information in. So we have a duty, like Michelle, to make sure that the algorithm has some real truth behind it and counteract all of the information that is coming forward, which is why this interview is being done as well, because these voices, the outlier voices, do not resonate with those who want history to be their own rather than the truth. Go ahead, Michelle.
The truth always wins, the truth always wins. Bad things only happen when good people decide not to do anything. And I really believe that. And I believe in spiritual protection. I believe that when you speak the truth, that we find each other and we are spiritually protected. 2 years ago, I had an ex-boyfriend, and I was researching those cases in lithium. And he tried to kill me. He literally said, I'm sorry, I have to kill you. And his eyes turned black. And I remember, and I say that because we have 1,400 cases a day in the United States of people getting abused. And
those are only the ones being reported.
Nothing ever happened to him. I was in the hospital. Anybody can go to my page, and I have the abuse pictures and report everything. And it's not about that story. What I want people to know about is that in this kind of work, if you're going to seek the truth and you're going to seek a path and you're going to be the lighthouse, I can promise you, if you're being attacked and you're have nothing, they're coming after your home and everything, good. That means that you're doing something. For those who are listening, if nothing is happening in your life, nothing is happening in the world, then you need to up your game, because that means the system doesn't see you as a threat. And I walked away from everything. I got out of that house with Clay trying to kill me from a sports bra and shorts. And I never went back for anything. And I say that not as the suffering or anything. It's resilience. It's about learning that you can take everything away from me. You can strip my relationship, not being able to see my children for safety. You can kill people that I love. You can rape me. The one thing that you're never, ever going to be able to touch is my integrity and my voice for truth. And we'll continue to look for children that are missing or people that have experienced injustice. Jonah Reeve case, when I say I've wanted to quit, and that always comes back, or I'll be working a case and child is found within 24 hours when I say I'm quitting. And, and I always laugh about, this is a real story about how I say when Clay tried to kill me, I was in a place where I wanted to quit. I was not in a good position. I wasn't doing things that I should have been doing. And, when I said when he tried to kill me, the angels were up in heaven going, she's in trouble. We need to get down there. And God's following his fingernails going, she's not been talking to me. And because when I got out of the house and I was still in the Lake Cove, I felt just this inner voice say, calm your mind. They can only kill you if you're afraid.
I have
And
a gentleman who's a representative, because a lot of people don't know, but there's been some threats over the last few months that were overcome. But he said to me when I called him, he said, Billie, congratulations. I said, congratulations. I've been dealing with this for 19 years. I've avoided death so far, and even at my own hand, avoided death thanks to my son. But he said, no. You don't have to worry about the ones who are making the threats. It's the ones you don't see. Be very vigilant. What you just said is key. They can be right in front of you. It could be the man or woman sitting next to you that has been brought in to be your lover, your confidant, your friend, your husband, your new wife, your new sister, I love you. I want to help you. And if you're not looking, truly recognizing that what Michelle is saying is how it works, how it is the system. It is these agencies man created in order for control.
The agency, I don't care what walk of life, your walk of life you're walking. You have to realize the government has a database of your history, your life. So they send someone in that knows your hurt, your trauma, the enemy doesn't look like a military or a drone. It can, by the way, I've had those, but it doesn't look like that in real life. What I would, if I wanted to get a message out to everybody is keep your circle small, keep shielded up, keep prayed up. Never get too comfortable. I thought that I loved this man, and one thing that I have to learn, I was talking to you about discipline, is when things have gone in my life, it's because I got tired and I wasn't being disciplined. And I realized, and I have to take responsibility for, was I was in a relationship that I was creating something that I wanted, not what it was. And that's dangerous, especially if you're fighting the system and if you're working, because the way they come is, I'm going to provide you a home. You can rest. Don't worry about it. Let's go take trips. Let's, I've got your back. You're safe with me. And the whole time, though, they're distracting you. They're taking you on a totally different path. So you have to be disciplined in this kind of work to really listen to your spirit and to, my creator of saying, is this right? Does this energy feel right? With that said, that doesn't mean that people that I don't match with doesn't mean that they're not doing a good thing either. We're just not in the same alignment now.
A key thing here, though, to interject is that most times, from what I found over the last 2 decades in advocacy work, in whistleblowing, in bucking the system, seeking justice, is that people around you can see what you don't as well. And sometimes people around us say, come on, go to dinner with us. And then, no, thank you. And then after a few no thank yous, you say, you never want to go with us anymore. Well, it's not you. I'm sorry, you've got that, I'm sorry, I'm just not comfortable. And you have to listen to other people as well, because other people, when they see and feel what you should be, because of what you just said, sometimes we block that. And so this show, and we're going to wrap it up now, and I'm going to give you the final word here for the last couple of minutes. It's very important, people listening to you, recognize that today's message is to be alert, to be aware, not to be quiet, but to be monotone in your delivery and no chaos in it. Find your ground, but do not overlook the cracks in the dirt. Do not overlook the cracks in the cement, because what did they say when you buy a house? How's that foundation?
That's right.
Go ahead, Michelle. Give us your last couple of minutes here, and we're going to close.
I know we're going to close, and what I tell people, and this is what I honestly walk by and live by, is the things that happened to me I'm not here because I'm special. I'm here because of God's grace. And in my casework and everything, I try to understand what people's trauma is. Why do you react the way you're reacting, or why do you not see? And it's usually based on trauma. So I really believe in grace. That doesn't mean that you have to have everybody in your life by that. It's just trying to understand. And, you know, what I would highly recommend is don't go in the world of I'm going to fix everything. I look at it as, what can I do to be a lighthouse? What can I research? What can I work? What can I help with that I beam, I glow in the world, that you get the spark and you see it and you grow from it. And so I really want to encourage the people that are worried about what's going on, the system. We're not going to win. Well, what does winning look like? Are you looking at winning in their terms? You know, we're programmed that we have a red and blue, we have a heaven and hell, we have two options, and that's really not how life is. So I really encourage people, walk with your spirit, walk with integrity, walk with intent, set the intent and create. We are co-creators of God. The Bible says that you are a co-creator. And so speak your words, be mindful of your thoughts. And when you speak with power, because that is what the system cannot survive. And
you know, you said it wonderfully. And for those out there doing any research, CPS, APS, guardianship, conservatorship, deed fraud, you are not alone out there researching. We don't need to start all kinds of new groups of advocacy. What we need is these advocates doing what Michelle and I are doing this morning, just coming together, having conversations that then network you where you should have your voice so it can be heard. These toll and roll interviews are being done because these are the voices behind the scenes that no one really wants to see the faces of, because these are the faces of the voices who have brought the evidence of which the remedy can be given. They've brought the evidence. Michelle has brought evidence everywhere. She has placed it in their hands, in front of their eyes.
Put evidence in your current president in his first administration. I've put evidence very high up. So it's not about recreating the wheel. It's about, we don't have to recreate. We just have to continue to stay together.
Stay together. Get on the bus. That's what toll and roll is about. Let's all drive the same bus. Let's all drive the same message. The people are the answer. You are the answer. Walk as Michele Walker walks, through honor, through your voice being heard, head held high, without fear of being retaliated against. We hear so many people, oh, I can't do that. They're going to come after me. Well, who are they? Why would they come after you? And if they're coming after you, maybe you're doing the right thing. And I can tell you, I've been at this 19 years. They came after me. At first I was scared. And then I was like, oh, good Lord, is that what you got? Is that what you're going to do? Put things right with your family. Put things right with your Lord, our God, Jesus' dad, our Father. And believe me, I say this because sometimes my father, who I mention, may not be the right father we want to talk about, if you know what I mean. And so, Michelle, thank you for your time today. How can people reach you?
You can reach me. I'm on my Facebook page, Michele Walker. I have the Lady Boss on TikTok, which has lots of my videos and information. And then if
Lady Boss, I love that one. That Lady Boss, I love those little sparks.
Lady Boss. I did not give myself that name. That's my name that employees gave me when I was a teenager. And then Walker, Lawful America at gmail.com if anybody needs to reach me for help. I'll
get your contact from you too, and we'll put it down in the video. So for this segment, Miss Outlier, you are fantastic. I am so glad you agreed to come on. Thank you for all your research behind Jonah, for all the lost children. I know it's not done. You're still researching quite massively, and what you do matters. And anyone listening, what you're doing matters. Even if you think it's not a big deal in your local community, and you maybe have a judge or a county council member or someone on the board of supervisors or superintendent of schools. Get into your community organizations and start researching and realize that what you're finding at the lower level is happening all the way up the ladder. It's just the higher it gets, the more the severity is. And don't be threatened. Don't put yourself in positions of saying stupid things that give ability for those with the handcuffs and the guns to come after you. Stay honorable, stay pure in intent, and know that you are an anomaly in God's eyes. And together, we've got this. Billie, co-founder, Toll and Roll. Go to tollandroll.com, www.tollandroll.com. Get on the walk with Michelle. Be a walker. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.
Behind the scenes, the Outliers meet, not by accident, by truth, by witness, by walk. We're not your toy, we're real, we breathe. We think, we pray, we still believe. You watch the walkers but miss the light. Two women standing in plain sight. Michaele walks where truth gets loud. Billie rolls through the silent crowd. Lawful America, toll and roll. Evidence carried with heart and soul. Telling the truth should not be deadly. Speaking the truth should not cost your life. Outliers rise when the world gets heavy. We are the witnesses walking through night. We are the light, we are the sound. We are the ones they try to drown. But truth has a way of breaking free. You can't bury what God lets breathe. Be the lighthouse, hold the line. Walk with spirit, walk divine. Not for fame and not for show. We came because the people know. Children missing, records gone.